Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, where we're going to be playing another draft of MTG Foundations, the newest core set that's going to be around for 5 years. It may be a core set, but this core set's got some hands. So without further ado, let's get into the pack 1 pick 1. We have incredible black removal spells. I think these are super reasonable pack 1 pick 1s, or some really nice aggressive red flyers. The Flamewake Phoenix is pretty fun. 2/2 flying haste attacks each combat if able. Good in a really, really aggressive deck, but it basically doesn't help you at all on the defense because it has to send it. It has to get those attacks in. You can get one trump with it if you play it main phase 2, but it's also like a little difficult to bring back. I don't know. I'm not super into the Flame Lake Phoenix. I think the Dragon Trainer is just more consistent. A 1/1 and a 4/4 flyer for 5 mana is just ridiculous, and there's several ways to play around with this card. In white, you can like flicker it with cards like Mischievous Pup to recast it and get another 4/4 flyer. In blue, you can do the same, put it back into your hand, recast it, get another 4/4 flyer. In black, you can sacrifice the 1/1 body that it comes with for value while still having the 4/4 flyer to deal damage with. And in green, the 4/4 is a 4-power creature, which is an important stat line. So Dragon Trainer, I think, is just deceptively good to where it's actually even better than that rare, in my opinion. Pick 2 is really simple for me. Banishing Light is by far the best card in the pack, by far the best removal spell. The other best cards are like, I like Burglar Rat and Sack decks. I like Bite Down in green, because green doesn't really have other removal, but Banishing Light is just like miles ahead these cards. Super simple pick 2. For pick 3, we've got a Hungry Ghoul towards Black Sacrifice. That's a huge deal, but also Felidar Savior in white. This card is insane if you get to curve into it. If you have 2 other creatures on board, you get a 2/3 lifelink and 2+1/+1 counters, which is a ridiculous amount of stats for that mana cost. And the fact that it has lifelink is pretty absurd. Makes it really, really hard to race, which is what a lot of these aggressive mirrors come down to. Here's another Felidar Savior, which is great, but I do want to mention this rare is actually pretty good. It's a lot of mana, but it's basically Time Walk. If you cast this during your opponent's, well, I guess the best time to cast this is after your opponent like swings their whole board in, or if they tap out, then you can just cast this. They're tapped out, like all their blockers are tapped, or their mana's all tapped for their spell, and then like their spell just doesn't resolve when the turn ends, or the damage doesn't go through when the turn ends. It's very, very similar to like a Time Walk, but a little fancier. You can do some cheeky things with it, but being Banishing Light and a Felidar Savior deep into white, I just want to go for another Felidar Savior. It's a great card. Not quite time stop quality, but good enough to just get really, really deep into white. Pick 5, we have a bunch of random filler aggressive red cards, but this whole pack is basically random filler. The best card is Tachiova, and we're very far away from her. So, random filler red creature it is. I guess I could take Swiftwater Cliffs here. Just some speculative fixing. Because all 4 of these red cards are cards I would prefer to end up cutting by the end of the draft if I do end up in red. They're all playable, but they're on the lower end of playable. Pick 6, there's Evolving Wilds for more speculative fixing. It's hard to get a million 2-drops for the Raise the Past, and even then, you have to have a deck with a million 2-drops and have them all actually trade off and die. It's insanely explosive in that position, but it's a pretty narrow position. Pick 7, more red filler. It's filler in every color, so we can take the red filler, grab a Fanatical Firebrand. Pick 8. Windscarred Crag. More speculative fixing, but this is the most likely to make it because everything we've taken so far is in Boros. Pick 9, another Firebrand. Fishing Pole has looked just too slow, generally. It's very cute, it's very flavorful, but I'm not super into it. Pick 10. Duo is the best card. I don't want to play a colorless land just to get an unblockable swing. Obviously, that could end a game, but more often than not, it's just going to harm your mana base a little bit and not end up doing much. Random combat trick, I guess. It's good to see that the random super filler red creatures are all coming back around. It's a decent sign for red, even if we aren't seeing like really good red cards. We're seeing a quantity of red spells available. We did get the Mischievous Pup Dragon Trainer combo, which is cute, but you want to have a lot of synergies for Mischievous Pup before you run it, because one toughness on a 3-mana card is quite a big downside. So we want a lot more than just Dragon Trainer, but we do have 2 Felidar Savior as well. That's another good enter ability. Pack 2, pick 1. We got a Gold Vein pick, that's fine. We got an Angel Finality, that's fine, just as a 4-mana flyer. That's about it. I think I'll just go for the Angel here. We don't have a lot of good, cheap, evasive creatures for the Gold Vein pick yet to consistently get the damage through. We have 1/1s and a 2/1, so let's just get a flyer here. Here's an excellent, excellent cheap creature. Oh, I'm really sad to see this in the same pack as a Fiery Annihilation and a Burst Lightning. These are all insanely high quality cards. Fiery Annihilation, killing a creature and exiling it, even exiling the equipment attached to it if your opponent's got their own Gold Vein pick. Burst Lightning, super flexible, 1 to kill a 2 toughness creature, or 5 to kill a bigger creature, or sometimes your opponent with 4 damage, and Sunblessed Healer's just insane at 4 mana. 4 mana for a 3/1 lifelinker and reanimation of one of your 2 mana or less permanents from your grave. Oh god, I feel like the healer is so good, I really want to take it here. But we do have 3 4-drops already, and our removal is currently just a Banishing Light, and these are both very premium removal spells. I'm going to go for premium removal. I'm going to take Fiery Annihilation, but we are not going to get that Reanimator thing back. Because the other thing is, like, our 1 and 2 mana creatures really suck for the Reanimator thing right now. There's also, like, a slight chance we just don't get enough good creatures to reanimate. This is an easy Cathar Commando. Removal spells that give your opponent a card or a 1/1 token or anything like that tend to play quite bad in 1v1 limited, because the 1/1 human body, when games are so focused on combat in draft and sealed, does matter quite a lot, especially when you have like a 2/1, you've got a 3/1. Giving them a 1/1, you're just 2 for 1ing yourself. You spent a card to kill their 1 card, but now the human they get back is going to kill another one of your cards. So you've just given them extra value there, really. Especially when I'm about to take another 1 toughness creature. Felidar Savior versus Battlesong Berserker is actually pretty close. These are both really good cards for Boros aggro. The Felidar Savior getting a bunch of counters onto the board, but the Berserker making it really easy to get attacks in with +1/+0 and Menace. I think at this point, again, with our cheaper creatures looking so mediocre, I'd rather go for a Berserker over a 3rd Savior, because if you're running 3 Felidar Saviors in your deck, you really need to consistently have 2 creatures on board before you slam the Savior down, and we're not really going to do that if our cheap creatures suck. So let's take a Battlesong Berserker. Pick 5, there's a good cheap creature. Healer's Hawk is great at wearing a Gold Vein pick. It's also a wonderful card to put +1/+1 counters onto with Felidar Savior, and just good at racing in general. I like the 5-drop as well. It's not too hard to trigger raid in this format, so just a 4/4 deal 2 to any target. Good removal spell on a stick style creature, but we need cheap aggressive creatures, cheap evasive creatures in Boros in general, but especially Boros with some Felidar Saviors. Pick 6, this pack is really awkward for us because the options are all decent filler 4-mana creatures, which is what we are chock full of. We have 3 really good 4-mana creatures and a decent filler one with Angel. So none of these are really going to improve our deck. Our curve is not in the interest of these. And this combat trick is just quite bad. The Twin Blade Blessing, because you just get 2 for 1. But I'm basically never playing a Campus Guide in a 2-color deck, so I'll still take the Twin Blade Blessing, but I'm not super happy about it. I am super happy about Prideful Parent. That is the perfect 3-drop for a deck that has 2+ copies of Felidar Savior, because that can single-handedly make sure you have enough creatures for the Savior. It also plays well with the Mischievous Pup, of course, because it's got a good enter effect to redo. Pick 8, filler 4-drop. We do not want more filler 4-drops. Am I taking another Twin Blade Blessing? No shot. We'll play a random Goblin Borders for now. Raiding by turn 3 is a little difficult, especially for this deck. We have 5 creatures total that cost 1 or 2. It's quite bad. I do not like Goblin Negotiation and aggro. I think it's fine in really slow controlling decks. But it is so much mana in aggro. I'm just going to take 1,000-Year Storm for the collection because it's a fun card. And we'll draft some uncommons for Vault Progress, although Thrill of Possibility is playable if we don't find enough good stuff. And here we are. We have a pretty mediocre deck right now, but we have a whole pack we get to use to make it better. And we open 2 insane on-color rares. No, I can't have both of these. God, that is rough, because these are both literally some of the best rares in their colors. So, I mean, Chandra hits the board and does a one-sided board wipe with a -4. 7 mana is a lot for Boros, but that is obviously absurd. A Plague Wind to basically wipe your opponent's board but keep your stuff out. But then Celestial Armor, it's like really efficient for these aggressive decks, where you slam this in, you win a combat with that indestructibility, and then you have this flying threat now. You've turned your 2/2 into a 4/2 flyer that really needs to get killed, and you can move that equipment around later. Wow, now there's an Atali? Do I just play Big Red here? I feel like Dragon Trainer is sadly better than Atali, because it's just giving you the great ability on the enter. It doesn't matter if it attacks or not to get the good swing. Whereas Atali has to stick around and survive. Boros slowness the deck. Boros 6 and 7 drops sounds fun though, and the Flame Shaper already wants us to get really high in mana. I mean, the Dragon Trainers kind of help make it to Chandra though as well. It's like 2 blockers for the 5. I don't know. Probably not doing things on the defense, not doing anything until it gets through Summoning Sickness. Dragon Trainer's certainly the better card in a vacuum. Atali's probably better when you're actually like in green and you can consistently ramp, but there is quite a gap between 5 mana and 6 mana, and an even bigger gap between 6 and 7 mana. Because once you get that late in the game, like you're not guaranteed a land every draw step. Lands can take 3, even 4 turns to hit another land. So it's the difference between something you're going to cast on like turn 6 or 7 and something you're going to cast on like turn 10 to 13, you know? So 6 drops and 7 drops like really need to sell themselves, and Shivan Dragon does not really sell itself nowadays. We're just going to take a fleeting flight. I could have taken that 5 mana removal, but that is, again, really expensive removal. I need filler 2 drops at this point to help the curve out a little bit, so get a 2 mana 2/2 Heir Apparent over another 4 drop. Pick 5. Look, see, I'm actually a genius. We're just going to get 3 Heir Apparent in a row. Oh my god. Not again. This is like the 3rd time this has happened. We had that pack with like the great removal. It was like Burst Lightning and then the Fiery Annihilation, but also like a really good creature that we wanted. And then we had the pack with Chandra and the other rare that we really wanted. And now we have a pack with Heroic Reinforcements and Burst Lightning. Like, I don't think that our color pair is like that insanely contested here. It's just that the good cards for us are clumping up into just one pack where I can only get one of like the 3 great cards for our deck each time. Which is rough. Okay, things are really shaping up now though. I kind of feel like I should have taken Burst Lightning over Reinforcements. I mean, I've got the curve for the Reinforcements, but being a deck that's trying to get the 7 mana Flame Shaper, Burst Lightning is much better at like defending yourself to get to a bigger play. Reinforcements is better when your cheaper cards are better than ours, but they've gotten pretty decent now with the double Hair, the double Prideful Parent. But I think Burst Lightning, just because of the Chandra, actually gets the edge there over the Reinforcements. I kind of just went a little bit on instinct there because so used to dying to Heroic Reinforcements. I'm not sure this is the greatest deck for killing people with that card. 12, First Strike. I mean, Strongbox Raider's not that bad, but I have so much going on at 4 mana. If I ever exile a Chandra with it, I'm going to cry myself to sleep tonight. Impulse draw into my 7 mana Chandra. RIP. Alright, we can cut quite a few cards now. We have 20 creatures, so we can cut a lot of those. Because we have Heroic Reinforcements as well, so it's like 21 creatures. Really don't like the one toughness stuff like Firebrand Archer. Cathar Commando giving you that naturalized flexibility is decent though. Mischievous Pup has a lot of cute combos in this deck. Picking up a Prideful Parent to Felidar Savior. But then we're having to recast a 3 or a 4 mana creatures. They're not even like that good of combos. They're just cute. Still think that one toughness is quite a hard sell to where we can just cut that as well here. Yeah, Boros generally not the kind of deck that wants to like pick up a card to replay it for more value when you could instead just be curving out and bashing. And despite being a bit slower with the Chandra, I think we're still going to get a lot of wins off of that. I mean, looking at this curve and then having the reinforcements here. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut all these 1 toughness cards in this Twin Blade Blessing. Already kind of spoke on why I'm not a fan of the Twin Blade Blessing. Bulk up tricks, a little random to Sittering Blast, a lot of mana. Still have a Banishing Light of Fiery Annihilation, a Luminous Rebuke for removal. Flame Shaper is also removal if we have 7 mana, but obviously can't rely on that. Still have Sure Strike and Fleeting Flight. I like the Fleeting Flight better. Often it's going to play like a 1 mana Sure Strike. There are positions where Sure Strike will win the combat, but Fleeting Flight won't. But Fleeting Flight always makes sure your creature lives. So there's that. You're never going to lose the combat. Yeah, I like potentially cutting these 3. Then 1 more cut. Definitely not a land with Chandra in this deck. Could be our most medium 4-drop. The Angel, our most medium 5-drop. Actually, that makes more sense. We have double Dragon Trainer and an Armasaur Guide. Let's just cut the Armasaur Guide. The Dragon Trainers are just better. Yeah, that seems fine. Cut these 4. Basically got a deck here. 13 white cards, 11 red. Wants to play more red than white sources, but that's because we have no cards in the whole deck that need 2 white mana. But we have 2 Dragon Trainers and a Chandra that need double red. So I think that's fine. Just a tiny bit more red than white. And we'll call it a deck here. Super excited to see how this deck does. So without further ado, let's hop right into the gameplay. All right, here we are for game 1. We've got very solid mana. We have a 2-drop creature, a 3 mana removal spell. We're going to have to kill this thing before it draws 5,000 cards for our opponent. Found our removal spell target. Playing against blue-white flyers. Deck can be an issue. Yeah, there's a lot of flyers here. I probably should have just played my 2-2 instead of my 3-1 here. Not the biggest fan of just trading into a Strix Lookout, but that draw actually makes it kind of fine. If they do... Oh, well, no, that's... If they double block, I'm done. But, no, this is still kind of fine, because now they're just going to have a single Strix Lookout, and I'm still going to have my Fire Annihilation for later. Yeah, no, in a completely different way. That makes the Cathar Commando fine there. For some reason, my brain was defaulting to like, they have to double block here, but they absolutely do not. Okay, if I send in the Heir Apparent and they block with the token here, then I can annihilate Arabo and kill both. Gross. Cards are lining up pretty well for us here, because now we're just going to slam down Dragon Trainer next board, or next turn. They're stuck on 3 mana. Draw a card, discard a card, look for that land for turn. They did not find it. They also haven't had to spend any removal yet, so wouldn't be surprised if our Dragon token dies here, but then we get to thrill this mountain away. Find some more action. Light Shell Duo. Quite the blocker on the ground, but our dragon can still put in some work. Ooh. Not quite a good board for that because of that Light Shell duo, but that can stack up alongside some other cards to be pretty insane. Such as Prideful Parent, or even Banishing Light on the duo. I don't want to blow this Banishing Light that early, let's just get the Parent down. Alright, Witness Protection the Flyer, but that is still going to be beating down with the Heroic Reinforcements. Still a 2-2 to bash in with. If I reinforcements here, they don't have double blue up, so they can't counter it. Light Shell Duo gets to eat my 3-3 Vigilance. And then they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I still have the Banishing Light for later. Or is it better to just banish here, send 4, and heroic Reinforcements next turn? The problem is if I Banishing Light here and then I just play a better creature next turn, but at 5 mana there's not much that's that much better at blocking than a 3-4, so I think I'm just going to clear that out. See no black mana from our opponents, so I'm just going to play these lands out. We already cast our one Thrill of Possibility, that's a discard to draw 2. So I don't think there's going to be anything else making us discard this game. And we could find a Chandra, where we need 7 lands on board. Pyrian Eagle. That's actually really good at blocking here. But Prideful Parent makes the reinforcements even more ridiculous soon. If I wait a turn... No! Oh my god, okay. Well, that Banishing Light didn't play out super well. Eagle into Savior is insane blocks. Wow. Alright, so eat 2 of our 3/3s. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, but gain 2. 13 minus 2. They take 11? If they go block this, block this, block this. Block this, block this, block this. That's the biggest stuff they can block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 minus 2. 10? I think this is exact lethal. Should have just math is for blocksters it. I'm not going to have a better play here, and the longer I wait, the less likely the reinforcements is going to be to kill them, so... 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and they die. Yeah, no, they're dead either way. They gain 2, but take 12. Oh my god, that was close. That was so close. Banishing Light actually perfectly timed to get that extra 4 damage to make this reinforcement still lethal here. I don't know, it's probably either way around it would have worked. Like, had we Banishing Light this turn and reinforcements earlier. Because if I did it that way around, I would have hit for a bunch there, but then had a little less creatures. But then I just Banishing Light a blocker, send in some, let some of them chump die, and everything else kills them. I feel like we probably had it either way. Reinforcements plus Banishing Light there, the dream team together, was pretty great, especially with the double parent. All right, solid start here for game 2. Got the good excuse to get Evolving Wilds out on turn 2. Thanks to not carving out perfectly, but Hawk into Prideful Parent still looks pretty good. A Johnny's Pridemate, turn 2 from the black-white deck is one of the scarier 2-drops in the format. You always have to expect a ton of lifelink from them, to where this Pridemate could get really big, so the lack of removal in the opener could come back to bite us. Still never worth a mulligan with a hand like this. So far, so good. It's not any bigger yet. Yeah, and then the Blood Thief doesn't do any life gain nonsense. So Prideful Parent might just hold it off for a moment here. If they attack with both, I'll throw the Parent at the Pride Mate. If they attack with just the Blood Thief, I will go for the double block here. No! The life gain land. Oh, and the Gold Vein pick to make one of these a 4/4 on the attack? Wow, this is very bad. We have no good blocks, so they get a treasure token and a counter on the Blood Thief. I could chump since a treasure plus a +1/+1 counter is pretty decent value. Might be worth the chump there. But now I have more creatures out for when I have the Fleeting Flight trick here. I do not think I get to attack anymore. I guess a 2/2/2s is enough to get a kill here. I mean, it's going to be a 3/3 Parent and a 1/1, blocking a 4/4. But if they gain any more life and Pride Mate becomes a 5/5, I need to kill that. But then Blood Thief's still going to keep getting weird. This is just a whole nightmare. Both of these could easily become a 5/5 because they could just put the pick on that and then attack everybody, and I need the Fleeting Flight to do anything there. Oh no. Well, that only buffs one of the two. They have to pick a color. Okay, so buff Pride Mate. Oh my god. Oh! This is filthy. I am so jealous right now. They've only got one card left in their hand at least, but I think we lose. I'm going to be honest with you all. I think we lose. Imagine I have to just keep the highest toughness on this board over the lifelinker. I don't have any other 1-mana cards I can draw off this Thrill of Possibilities. There's no reason to do this during combat. Maybe I should have done it during my turn, because then we could have hit a Fanatical Firebrand and had the mana to use the Fleeting Flight and the Fanatical Firebrand here. That's the only other 1-drop left in the deck. Well, we'll see. If I don't have any lands in my top 3, this is rough. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Not only did I hit the Fanatical Firebrand, so if I did that during my turn, I would have had that on board, but I also missed having a land in the top 3, so I do get punished for having to discard a land to do that. I don't get to play a Dragon Trainer here. Yikes. Well, there's 7 power. I can trade my entire board into their Blood Thief. Or I can start chumping it every turn. I'll get tokens off Heroic Reinforcements as well. There's some ways to play it out. If we hit the 5th land, Dragon Trainer gets a flyer to start attacking my opponent and gives me another chump for Blood Thief. So I have 2 Blood Thief chumps in a row while still playing the big threats that are going to win us the game. So I feel like we're going to be on chumps here. And if they draw into their own Healer's Hawk or something, we've got the Firebrand ready. That Gold Vein pick, though, is going to allow them to, like, send in the Thief and then just move the pick to their blocker and have a 4 toughness blocker for our 3 power parent, so we just don't get any action cracking back. Or they could just equip it right now. That works too. Oh my god, they attack? Let me trade a 3/3 into their 3/3 lifelink. Okay, I am very happy with that. Ooh, that is not so bad either. really just want to dedicate this cat to chumps. But it feels so awkward to put a counter on the Firebrand. Yeah. I should have just put the counter on the Firebrand, because I just don't want to lose it here when they're the kind of deck that would draft every copy of Healer's Hawk that they see, and this can kill a Healer's Hawk, so... Again, I'm just gonna chump with the cat first and then chump with the Firebrand. That's kind of gross. Alright. I mean, if we had to miss the 5th land again... technically 6th land again, I had to discard for Thrill, but... yeah, that was one of the best draws we could hit here. I don't really get to choose what I kill, do I? Yeah, I have to kill something that's currently equipped. I would like to kill the Veteran. So yeah, if they equip the Veteran, that is best case scenario. I have to kill it before the attack trigger to stop the buffs here. I'm kind of fine with the buffs. The Blood Thief I already have to chomp. And I can double block the Blight Priest easily. I guess maybe I should have just taken the Blood Thief damage. I'm gaining 2, I'll be at 13, take 7, go to 6. Could be at 6 here. Blood Thief being a 7/7 or being an 8/8 instead of a 7/7 is like basically the same thing at this point. It's already overkill. So I could have let it get bigger. But I guess since I didn't, that makes that draw insane. That's 7 toughness and 6 power, so I can double block and they'd only kill 1 without another spell. So it actually played out pretty well in theory to have blocked there. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, it did. Now we go Trump swing in the sky, Trump swing in the sky, Trump swing in the sky, you're dead. Looking viable. I do not mind that at all. Okay, they're dead in the sky next turn. Even if they kill one of our flyers, we can heroic reinforcements for the lethal. They kill one of the flyers, but a reinforcements still gives us a 9 damage in the sky. A little more on the ground just in case. I mean, Felidar Savior gives us 9 in the sky as well. But this is like extra overkill damage on the ground. So I think it's safer. I'm actually not sure. Both are pretty safe. Because Felidar Savior is going to give us 9 damage in the sky and a life-linking jumper. Which is obviously pretty safe too. Alright. Excellent game for us. Really good game for the Dragon Trainer there. Really earning its spot in the deck over the Atali. If we had an Atali in hand, it would have still just been stuck there. Just making it 2/5 mana by the end of that game. But those Dragon Trainers, again, played insanely well. Being able to chump and create your massive threat was just perfect for that situation. We are 2-0 heading into Game 3. Game 3, we're basically on a mold to 6. Pretend I mulliganed and then we kept this 6, and then things look reasonable here. You generally don't want to keep a 7-drop in your opener and draft, but the alternative is to mulligan to 6 and then keep a comparable hand anyway. That just doesn't have the Chandra. So I might as well just keep this. Boros mirror match. Heir apparent mirror match. Go team go. Most obvious combat trick of all time, but whatever. I'm getting damage in. No, they actually have the double in the opening hand too. Gross. Two land draws from hitting a Chandra. Jinx Yomi Soda. Oh my god, we're the same deck. But they drew double Heir Apparent. Our second is somewhere in there. He's waiting. Give a little boop. Do you have a third? No, helpful hunter. Thankfully they stopped breeding like rabbits for a second. Uh-oh. But land 4. Okay. You probably don't care about your graveyard opponent, but let's find out. Okay, that's a fine trade. I mean, a 3/4 is also just already a good stat line. No, not the pick again. The +1/+1s. Breaking through the 3/4. Yep. So much for my big booty. That is not a land. Seven on the crackback. Hit for 4, they go to 9. They still damage to their face. No. Could haste a copy of somebody though. I feel like with Rebuke I can do this. And then I rebuke whoever has the pick next turn. Kind of need them to not have removal, but them having removal is already so bad for me. Because then I just don't have blocks in the first place if I don't race. Even if I try to hold everybody up. Ooh, the Gorehorn Raider. Yep, that's the removal. So 3-turn kill with the Angel Finality. We definitely do not outrace them. The goal here was like a 2-swing kill by top decking into something. Oh, Chandra. Why you gotta do this to me? 8, 9 damage on board. And I've got chumpies. If I can get 3 swings in, they die. Sadly, it is looking like this game is 100% going to play out like we did take a mulligan to 6 off this Chandra. We are just not going to cast her this game. Okay. Yeah. We're winning at this rate. Barely. But if they don't kill the flyer, we win. Just chump block and save Fire Annihilation to be able to kill a flying blocker if they play one post-combat here. Oh no. That is almost definitely lethal. God dang it. Reverse heroic reinforcements. I mean, I'll stop all the damage I can, but I'm fairly confident that this is lethal. That's exactsies. Man. As close as possible. If Chandra were any castable spell, we would have won. Chandra for biggest underperformer by far. Alright, here we are on the play for game 4. We're 2-1 right now. I want to draw another creature to go along with the Felidar Savior here. But other than that, start looks fine. Excellent removal here. Well, didn't hit the creature, but it is what it is. Okay. Opponent chooses to be as annoying as possible, and it succeeds. I am annoyed. Good draw. Considering we ditched the land here. I ditched the land because there's no universe in which I'm going to discard one of these removal spells, and if I'm not going to discard one of the removal spells, what's the point of discarding the Savior when the only thing I need that 4th land for is the Savior? Or top deck Dragon Trainers and Chandras and stuff. But the only thing immediately castable I need the land for is the Savior. One bird pie for our opponent. Hello. The rabbits are getting swole. 4/4 bunny. Ooh. Need to grab another. Need to grab another water in between rounds. There's the slightest chance in the universe they have something to blow up Banishing Light off their green. So Annihilation's a better way to kill Arbiter, and I have to kill Arbiter either way. Anyways, I need to get a water between rounds, because I've been eating peanuts between rounds, and my throat is insanely dry now. Some could even say it has been dry roasted. 7 mana. Bro, if I lose to the Chandra, I will resign from the draft. Okay. Well, these are pretty good blocks. It's not great for me. I meant losing to their Chandra, but this would be a way to lose as well if this just gets stuck in my hand the whole game again. Oh, double block kill the 3/4, and that clears the path for everybody else. And this does mean if I make it to 7 mana, I win, but they're also a double Burglar Rat deck, so they probably just pick one up. Oh, God, no. Okay. Do not Burglar Rat me. Ooh. Wait a minute. That's insane. They have 1 mana for Hungry Ghoul? The awkward part is Hungry Ghoul makes it so they can double block and then just sack the Sage to the Ghoul anyway. But I can make it so that's a trade by sending in this is a 3/3 Menace. Because they already can't block the 3/4 well. Yeah, so this way they have to double block Savior, sack Sage to Ghoul to get a counter on it, but then I still kill the Ghoul. So yeah, that's a fine trade to get the Ghoul out of here before it can also sack the token. So this does let me get a double attack in here because they're not going to take this trade. Wonderful. There's their own Berserker. Start jamming in the sky with the Soul Caller at least. If we can't block anyway. Ooh, I don't know how good this is, but math is for blockers. Alright, good enough. There's a concession from our opponent. And we are 3-2, 3-1. I think I choked all the memories out of my brain when I choked on dry roasted peanuts. We're 3-1 right now as we head into game number 5. That is 2 games in a row where Chandra has been a massive underperformer though, so that is probably the better build of the deck. It is like a Sure Strike over Chandra, or even an Armasaur or a Twin Blade Blessing or something. But that's too bad, because Chandra's still the coolest card in the deck. So we're just going to run it back, heading into game number 5. Alright, here we are for game number 5. We're 3-1 right now. Pretty great record, so just a win or two away from being pretty happy. Break even on gems, just about next. Uh-oh. Pre-game actions from our opponent. That shut me up real quick. The Leyline Axe has arrived. This card is very strong in the opening hand. 0 mana to play and then 3 to equip is insane. Oh, wow. What a draw. Alright, we're fine. We're fine. Let's kill the Healer's Hawk, and then we'll Fiery Annihilation, whatever they try to put the axe on. And then we'll kill the axe, too. It's actually, like, the best follow-up against the Leyline Axe. But anyways, what I was going to say is I had this card, 2 copies of it at the pre-release, which was really, really fun. I couldn't resist just putting both in the same deck. It was hilarious. And yeah, it's the kind of thing where it's like, having to hardcast it for 4 mana is a little rough, but it's still kind of an okay card. Feels a little filler at that point, but when it is in the opener, it is absurd. Slap it on, please. Oh, no. This is the problem here with holding up Fire Annihilation, is if they don't equip the axe. I don't get to do anything. Okay, well now I get to do something. Their blocks are pretty bad because of Firebrand. So we get to crack back for a little. Yeah, like, I suppose maybe I should just be kind of curving out with the biggest play every turn. And then I could just Fire Annihilation during our turn after they hit us with the axe. Because at this point I'm already taking a bunch of flying damage either way I play it. Not a land. I mean, now if I don't have Annihilation up, I take 8 in the sky. Yeah, this sucks. Because they just get to run out the rest of their hand, and the threat of Axe will just always keep me from doing anything. Yeah. Well, shoot. I mean, maybe it could have went a little better if I didn't hold up Annihilation, but this amount of action, I think we still die. Alright, I'm good there. Good enough. 3-2 heading into game 6. Alright, here we are, 3-2 in round number 6. So one more loss and we are out of the draft, but I am taking every chance I have to actually maybe cast Chandra one time, so keeping a slightly risky hand here because it's pretty slow and we're on the draw where you really need quick defenses if your opponent is on a decent curve at all. So this hand being slow could just mean the end of the run. But at the very least, we can definitively say that Chandra sucks in aggro, and you shouldn't draft her. So far so bad, 1-drop, 2-drop. There's the red source, so they've got both their colors. Oh boy. And they've got the Blood Artist of the format, so every time I do kill something, I lose a life anyway. We also just drew another 4-drop here when we're looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s. And at least I can Firebrand the Blood Witch. But they've got the Hungry Ghoul mana up, so it's not even going to be profitable to do so. I guess block Ghoul, target Blood Witch is my best play. I'm 100% supposed to discard Chandra, but that's not happening. I've made my bed and I will lie in it. What tricks do you have here, opponent? Nothing yet. A Braid? Okay. Oof, reassembling Skeleton Hungry Ghoul? It's pretty concerning. They have land for turn. God dang it. They didn't have land for turn. They could only make Ghoul a 5/5, so I could just kill it here. But now they can sack the rat and the skeleton and reanimate the skeleton and sack it again. They can make Ghoul a 6/6. Man. A land away from either having the stat lines to keep them from blocking here or actually kill the Ghoul by making that block. So super bad draw on blocks. Chump take 3, chump take 3, chump. I'm good. Well, I'm so mentally done right now, but technically if I lifelink chump, I could hit land and then land. Maybe? Well, no, let's do the math. Chump, I'm 8 minus 3, I'm 5. Cast, chump, I'm at 2. No, I die before I get to Chandra, even if I hit exclusively, especially if they Blood Witch with a Hungry Ghoul on board. Alright. Well, that was a pretty massive bummer. I kept a slightly risky keep there because it was a little slower, and our opponent just did have the incredible Rakdos aggro curve outs. Our loss right before that, we just got Boros. They had the perfect curve. Not the perfect curve, but they had the premium signpost and commons to demolish us with. We could have played it out better. I was playing very, very defensively against the Leyline Axe, because as soon as that axe gets equipped, we just die pretty much. But had I just played it out and curved all my stuff onto the board, I think we still die when they had double reinforcements and the axe and a decent amount of other creatures to play alongside all those, especially the 1/1 and 2 3/3s into another copy of heroic reinforcements. It's just a nasty ending. I really did not play it out in the best way in terms of how they decided to respond to me just holding my mana up, but had I just slammed everything on the board, we still would have lost that game really handedly. They just had a fantastic deck with an incredible hand. I don't remember our first loss, but don't think this deck was incredible, but also don't think this deck got to really do much in those losses. I don't think a lot of decks would have been able to do too much there. Last game was a little self-imposed, keeping the Flame Shaper plus double 4-drop opener. But it was a gamble I was willing to take, and I get punished for it here. Again, this is far from the best Boros deck I've drafted. You want to have better 1 and 2 drops than these. Firebrand's pretty filler. The Heir Apparents with only 2 copies, the Goblin. We just needed more premium cheap plays to make the cards like Reinforcements more scary. And then the other issue, of course, is Chandra was the worst card in this deck by a country mile. She was constantly showing up and just being a mulligan. We never got anywhere close to casting her. She is the kind of card where if you do cast her, you win, but it looks like 7 mana is just too much in this format. You have to be somewhat rampy to actually play the Chandra, or actually a control deck to play the Chandra. This format is more than aggressive enough. You can't just put her into an aggro deck like this, as powerful as she is. So Chandra gets a 0 out of 10 in this deck. Actively worse than just a land in most of those situations. Because there was that one game where if she was a land, we would have played our Dragon Trainers way sooner. That last game, if she was a land, we would have played Dragon Trainers sooner as well. So that's 2 games she would have played better, as literally an 18th land. Like, you know you're performing real bad when an 18th land would be better than you. But that's not anything to do with the card itself. It's strictly to do with that mana value and how aggressive a lot of these games were today. Yeah, bit of a bummer. 3 and 3 is like 3 and 3 feels like a loss to me. Because my average is much closer to like 5-3. Like 4-3 and 5-3 I'm fine with. And 7 wins is the only time I'm like happy with a draft. So a 3-3 genuinely feels like a loss. Like technically, I mean, it's 50-50. The deck went fine. It fought. It went 50-50 against the competition, but I strive for much better than that. 3 and 3 just feels like a bad run, a bad deck, a bad everything. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.